Welcome to this week's session of Confessions of a Fitness Professional. I'm your host, Andrea Anderson, and let's dive into success. I know we've talked about success on this podcast. I think it's a topic that is easy to come back to, but also difficult. I think success is different to everybody, and I want to help you find success in your life, your business, your goals, all of those things, your professional life, your personal life. And I find that I have a lot of conversations with clients, with other fitness professionals around the change of seasons, especially big changes. So I would say winter into spring, we have a lot of those conversations, a lot of those soul-seeking type of things, like, am I happy? Am I doing the right things? What am I doing wrong? And the shift from summer to fall is the next biggest one that I think sparks those conversations and ideas of, do I like what I'm doing? What do I need to lead myself toward success in this next season? I think for whatever reason, summer, people are just happy to be. For the most part, I find that I mean, at least in conversations that we may have had together or things that I read, summer just tends to be more of a live in the moment, let it be. We'll figure it out in the fall, we'll figure it out in the next season. And the fall, it sort of propels into holidays, into this, back to school time, into a shift. There's definitely a shift that I think people feel. And as a result, I think a lot of conversations center around, am I doing my absolute best? Are there things that I could be doing to become more successful? Am I in the right place? Am I around the right people? What am I missing? All of those things. And then we enter that time of let's have gratitude for everything. And then let's spend our time all in this holiday frenzy and then figure it out in the new year. So I want to talk about creating success. And I think it is something that you absolutely can create. Does your upbringing and background contribute to your future success? Absolutely. I think we don't all start on an even playing field, for sure. There are a multitude of factors that can allow somebody to progress faster or have this illusion that they've progressed when really it's just the environment that they happen to be in or have the privilege to be in. But I think a lot of it also comes from mindset. And I think if you push yourself and give yourself the opportunity, you can find your version of success. So here they are, my top tips, my recommendations. If you are in this season of, am I doing the right things? Am I in the right place? Am I the absolute best that I can absolutely be? This is for you. Doesn't matter what the goal is, doesn't matter what your current role is, what your potential future role might be. These are things to reflect on and questions to really start with and ask yourself. So we're going to start with this reflection of sort of figuring out, where am I now? What do I value? What do I know? What do I wish I was doing? What do I want to learn? What goal or goals do I have? What are the things that are in the back of my mind, these little questions that keep coming up? Maybe it becomes present at a staff retreat when other people are buzzing about something, they're so excited, and you're like, I'm really not excited about that. Start to note those things, write them down. It is not the end of the world. It could be that you need a new perspective on it, but it could be that you're in the wrong place, and that's okay. Take the moment, though, to reflect. So we'll start there with that reflection, asking yourself questions about where you are now, where you see yourself going, how you would like to spend your time. I think that's the biggest thing is if you, like most of us, are in the position where you have to spend your time fulfilling other people's goals and duties, like you're working for somebody, then are you doing work that is meaningful to you? Are you, as you are helping a business or an individual become more successful, Are you in a spot to allow yourself to become more successful? And if not, maybe we write this down. So start with that reflection of where you are, where you would like to be, what does the environment currently look and feel like? And maybe at the same time with that reflection, start to think about what your perfect day, your perfect work day would look like. When does it start? When does it end? Who do you talk to? Do you go somewhere? Are you at home? What kind of work are you doing? Ask yourself those things. Reflect on those. And honestly, that could take a while. That could take some time. I mean, give yourself a time limit, force yourself to do the work, but that's where we start, and that could take the longest of any of these different steps. So once we start to reflect on where we are and where we might like to go, notice the things that bring you joy. So notice in that moment, notice what is it that is bringing me joy at the moment. You know, if I'm not happy with the work environment or the people or the goals or the tasks that I have, what are elements that I am currently satisfied with? What are elements that I could continue to do, even if it's not at the particular place that you are right now? And if you are in a place where you're not working for somebody, you're working for yourself, there are still things that you can do to step back and reflect, because even though you work for yourself, your client is the person that you work for. So consider that environment. You know, am I in the right space? Am I working with the ideal client? Are there places that I'd like to break into and different places to explore? Think about those things. So reflection is a big piece of this, and that usually scares people, because once they start to unpack where they are, what they're happy with, what they're not happy with, where they would like to be, it's a little scary. It can seem a little scary to just totally change places, uproot, try something new. You don't know the outcome. And especially if you are a provider for others, that's equally or doubly scary, because other people are relying on you to do well. But think about the potential you have if you were happy with what you were doing, happy with where you were. Think about that potential. And once we've done all this reflection, additional reflection, what is your idea of success? That's a big question. So once you've started to reflect about where you are, where you'd like to be, what is your idea of success? Define that. Because if you spend all of your time chasing the idea of success that somebody else has, you can go a really long time. You can go down a very long professional road and not find success, even if on paper it's like, oh, well, you've got a great job, you're making a lot of money, you have an impact in the community, but you're not happy. What is wrong with you? Then you'll start to doubt, like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am happy and successful. Define success on your own terms. It might not be money related. It might not be your location related. It might not be something that makes this huge impact in the world, right? Like, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it makes an impact in a small corner of the world. Maybe it makes an impact on you or your family. Define what your idea of success is, and let's use that as the gauge. Now, I know that is so much easier said than done, because comparison is what we surround ourselves with. We're looking at other people's lives on social media. We see the absolute best of the best that people share and post in our conversations with each other. It's like, you know, you share successes more than you do failures, because fail is a bad four-letter word in a lot of our society and culture. So we tend not to share the failures. We share the success, because we want to have this great people to have this great idea of us and a great perception of us. And so that's hard, to define your own success and not go by somebody else's version of it. Once we've gotten there, once we've gotten through the reflection, the definition of success, here's where more work begins. We're going to start to create that future. We're going to start to map it out. And the best way that I recommend doing that is to start by defining boundaries. Boundaries. I feel like boundaries have gotten a better rep, but it can still seem like a daunting or dirty thing to think about setting up boundaries to avoid certain places or certain people, to say no. No is a boundary, and it's very hard, especially if you are in Enneagram 2 or 3 and you want people to see your success, you want to be competitive, you want to make people happy. It's very, very difficult to say no. I get that. I get it. It's very hard to say no. But no is a boundary, and that's where you start to develop that idea of success, where it's like, okay, if I'm going to devote time and energy to this project that means so much to me and will help me create this success for myself, I have to say no to that person, or even if I love it. So for an example in the fitness profession is I've given up teaching gigs that I've absolutely loved because they weren't part of that new definition of success that I was creating for myself. They were great, they paid well, it was a great community of people. It's very hard to say no to that community of people, but ultimately you're the one that has to show up to it, you're the one that has to do the work. So if it's not 100% where you would like to be or how you would like to spend your time, it's time to say no to those people. Thank you so much for the memories. Love it. This has been an absolute thrill. I've loved being here. I'm going to try this now. And that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. Over time, you'll forget about that boundary. You'll forget that you said no. Over time. All right. So once we've done this reflection, defined our success, created these boundaries, we're going to be consistent. We're going to consistently say no. We're going to show up and do the things, and we're going to give it time, like a season. We're going to give it a season to really sink in, to start. Maybe it's a whole new routine. Maybe it's a whole new morning routine, a whole new evening routine. Maybe it's a whole new environment that you're working in. Give it a little bit of time and be consistent. I know it takes 21 days to form a habit. It takes about a year for it to really sink in. But 3 months, I'd say, is a good gauge of, is this fun? Do I like it? It's still kind of a honeymoon period where there's a little bit of grace if you mess up or whatever. I'd say probably a year would be better, but let's look short term. Let's think I can stick this out for 3 months. So if you decide your goal, something that will help you feel successful, is running a race, give yourself 3 months to do all the training, to put in the work, to say no to things like happy hour because you have to go running or whatever it is. Give yourself 3 months to give it a try, give it a whirl, and see how it feels every single day. And show up. I mean, you can't set a goal for something and then be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Because eventually tomorrow is like a year later. And what have you done? You haven't really given it the effort that maybe it deserved to have. And that's a whole other conversation that we'll talk about another day. But on this pathway towards success of reaching this goal, be consistent. Show up every single day. Allow yourself to devote the time and energy that goal deserves, and that you deserve, While you're in there, so we've already created boundaries. This next one is similar to a boundary, but it's very, very difficult for a lot of my clients and a lot of people I've had conversations with. Focus on you. Be a little selfish. Focusing on you, because you are the only one who will do it 100%. You are the only one that can answer to it. You are the only one that will show up for you. Even if you have people around you that are supportive, that's awesome. And advocates, that's great. Ultimately, it comes down to what you are willing and not willing to do. So allow yourself to be a little bit selfish. So maybe it is creating those boundaries, or maybe it is turning off social media to get out of the competitive lane. Stay in your lane. Focus on what you're doing. Don't worry about what Susie's doing down the road. Don't worry about what Bob is doing over there. Worry about what you're spending your time and effort on. And if you're looking at other people's lanes and thinking about, oh, well, she's doing it this way or they're doing it this way, that's their business, right? That's their business. Stay in yours, focus on you, be a little bit selfish. And my last tip for creating that success, for showing up for yourself, for setting that goal and conquering it, it's kind of three parts. Sleep, hydrate, move your body. Sleep, hydrate, move your body. The magic triad, the magic happens when you sleep enough. The magic happens when you hydrate yourself, and the magic happens when you allow your body to move. Doesn't mean that you have to leave it on the floor and sweat like crazy and have a no pain, no gain workout every day. No, go for a walk. Walk for 30 minutes, walk for 15 minutes, whatever you can do to move your body, and make sure you're sleeping. If you're in a season where you're taking care of others and sleep is not a priority, this is probably not the season to start a new goal or have the success for yourself. Give yourself a little bit of grace. But if you're in a place where you have decided that you want something new, you want to try something new, you want something for yourself, you want a project to work on for yourself, maybe it's a season where you want to evaluate your professional career and switch jobs, make sure you're sleeping. If you're sleep deprived, you're going to be not eating the greatest things, which is going to lead to you being not happy, stressful, lashing out on people, probably not making friends in that new environment that you're pushing yourself into. Sleep is really king. Sleep is king. And hydration goes right next to it, and movement goes right next to it. If you really want to make a change, if you really want to set yourself up for success, give yourself the opportunity by doing all of those things, by sleeping, by hydrating, by moving your body, by creating boundaries, by focusing on yourself, by defining that version of success that works with your own narrative. Give yourself the best opportunity by doing those things. And like I said, it's not easy. It's not hard. Moments might be hard, but it's worth it if it makes you happy, if it gives you meaning, if it makes you want to wake up every day and show up to something, if it makes you proud, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. So go forth, create your version of success, and share with me what you're doing. Share with me what you did if you're one of those people that doesn't like to share the process, although the process is what we learn from each other the best. So share the ups, share the downs, share the process, but would love to know what journey you want to go on or what journey you've just completed. That's our confession for this week, and let me know what other topics you want to explore in the future. Bye.